If you didn't know, this week is Marriage Week, a wonderful opportunity to, do a bit of a warrant of fitness on your marriage, what needs work, what needs celebrating, and making some decisions to invest into your marriage. And lots of organisations have provided tools and resources to help married couples to stay married, and also to thrive in their marriages. One of those organisations is Family Life. From Family Life, Vanna Jacobs joins us on the program. Kia ora, good morning. Thanks for your time today.
Kia ora, Andrew. How's it going?
Yeah, going very well. Happy Marriage Week. Is that a thing you can say?
Happy Marriage Week. I'll roll with it. I'll go with anything.
If the card companies catch on, this will be just a whole new way for them to clip the ticket. You know, you get Happy Marriage Week cards.
Yeah.
But we're not quite there yet. Yeah.
Or you may have some upset spouses that their significant other forgot that it's Marriage Week. But hey, we don't want to make it complicated. We actually want to celebrate marriage, and we want to just, breathe some positive resources and some positive framing around, this thing that's called marriage that, in our culture today is really played down a lot. Yeah. A lot of people talk about marriage as the ball and chain, whereas actually marriage, when it's done well, and if you're in a thriving relationship, which takes work, by the way, to get there, but if you're in a thriving relationship, it's one of the best experiences, best places you can be in life. And marriage is just phenomenal. And I think Marriage Week is an opportunity for us to, one, not only highlight how great marriage is and how important it is, doing it also the way that God designed, but then two, maybe we can resource people with some things that they can do to invest in their own marriage during this week.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic idea. And I'm a little bit nervous saying this out loud, but my wife and I were looking at some of the resources over the weekend. Just sitting there, I'm on the iPad, she's on her phone. We're saying, let's look up the some of the Marriage Week resources on Family Life. I must say, some really good stuff there. Some videos featuring both of us, in fact. As a part of the resources on the Family Life website, familylife.nz. But a particular tool, and we honestly, full confession, we looked at it, but then we got distracted and didn't complete it. But a wonderful resource to go, so hey, let's take a little bit of a temperature gauge on our marriage. How are we doing in terms of our married life? A wonderful Kickstarter for some honest and perhaps slightly challenging conversations.
Well, that's right. It's a marriage assessment, and I've really been thinking about something like this for a very long time. And then I found out there was a group of guys that already developed something. So I was delighted to discover this, and they actually gave us access to do this. And so it's a online marriage assessment that is really not a complicated assessment. And I actually think we will just go through some of the questions on air today. I've sent you that link, Andrew. So you're gonna take the assessment. I know you didn't have time before, but you're gonna take the assessment and share some of the questions with our readers, because I think what's important, and what I realized taking the assessment, is the questions that you are asked already frame the areas in your marriage that is maybe a strength or maybe needs some attention. And I love that. It's really simple. It's anonymous. It doesn't give you complicated results. In fact, Andrew, would you be okay if I shared my marriage assessment results with you?
That'd be absolutely fantastic, and good on you for doing so. So two good things, one to work on. That's how it comes out, right?
It's the other way around, actually.
Okay.
So, look, I often say my biggest relationship stuff-ups make for my best radio content, So let's just, just put it out there today and say, look, we are all a work in progress, and we all have areas where, and sometimes that's a lot of areas that we actually need God's grace to come in and transform us, And as these areas get highlighted for us in our marriage, we have a choice to make. When we are confronted with our brokenness, we've got a choice to make. We can try and conceal that brokenness and cover it up and say, no, I'm not broken, put on that mask, let's present beautifully. Mm-hmm. But that's not intimacy. That's not being fully known and fully loved. The other option when we're presented or confronted with our brokenness is say, God, I give you the broken pieces.
Yeah.
Help me put it back together again. And the beauty, and this I believe is the beauty of the gospel, is God puts broken people back together, not in a way that hides the fact that they were ever broken,
Yeah.
but actually uses our brokenness for his glory to shine through.
Super good, man.
Isn't that beautiful? So
That's fantastic. Yeah.
Allow the painful responses to not incite a defensive response in you, but to actually just breathe and just acknowledge, yes, I am broken. I'm not perfect. My spouse's results or the way she rated our marriage is not something I need to defend. It's something that I can listen to, respond, and say, I need help. Because we all need help. We all have some areas where we're winning, and we always have some areas where we need to grow.
And denying that it's broken isn't fixing anything, actually.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And okay, so let's just go into it. Really simple, easy to follow results. They have a paragraph. I'm not going to read the paragraph. I'm just going to tell you the strengths and focus areas today.
Okay.
So our top strength, commitment. And I just want to thank my parents for modeling that to me in my marriage. Like the D word, thinking about this isn't working for me, it's never been a thing that's really crossed my mind in marriage.
Cool.
And so commitment is a strength for us. We don't have any question around that. That's great. Now, that helps because there's a lot of other challenges we're facing and we're working on and we're growing through and all these things that, need that commitment. The best marriage advice that I never took when we were on our honeymoon was talking about clearly defining who owns what. So a focus area for our marriage is roles and expectations. And the thing that I've learned in our marriage, and I'm getting better at this, it's only taken me about 10 years, but I'm getting there, is when I say teamwork, I'm thinking I do my bit and you go and do your bit. And because we're doing it, then everything is done.
Yeah.
Whereas when Alray says teamwork, she's thinking we're doing this together.
Okay. Yeah.
And so us just having a complete misalignment on what teamwork really means has been a major point of frustration for us in our marriage. And we only really started getting breakthrough when I said, okay, let me be curious. Let me ask, what do you mean? And let me actually try and gain understanding rather than push for my perspective on this. And that's the breakthrough. So we're making progress in that area, but it is still an area of growth for us.
So you're on the same team, but you are understanding the rules differently. In some ways, you're playing a slightly different game.
We're playing a different game.
Yeah.
And I'm playing rugby, thinking there's the forwards and the backs, and we're sort of each have a different position to play, and it's not really next to each other. It's on the same field. Whereas, maybe what is the analogy? But I guess
still playing rugby, but in the scrum rather than in open field play. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So it's just different. It's not right or wrong. Neither is right or wrong. It's just different. And then forgiveness. Forgiveness is an area of growth for us. I'm sorry, but I have to be honest and say that I need to work on my heart and not hold a grudge.
Yeah. Wow.
When something's done, and forgive and truly let go. And so we're working through growing. And like this is great, because if we can receive this as, hey, let's just work on this. Let's just grow. We're not perfect, and that is okay.
Yeah.
It's actually very liberating, and it gives us permission to have grace for each other, because I don't need to actually convict you of your sin. The Holy Spirit does that.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you're not going to be defensive, then we can just have support for each other. And doesn't that feel like being on the same team anyway?
Yeah, no, totally. Now, those are the things to work on, but you're finishing with the gold star that you got from this process?
Sorry, I completely missed that.
Okay.
What were you saying, Andrew?
So with the results, you get two things that you have to work on, and one thing which is the gold star. So the gold star, that's the commitment one for you?
Oh yeah, that's the commitment.
Okay.
That's our strength. That's hands down. We've nailed that one. So yeah, the results give you a number, like one strength and 2 areas to focus on.
Yeah.
There are other areas, but it's just, hey, let's just start somewhere. So you can retake this assessment whenever you want to and see where you're at.
Now, is it the sort of thing that you need to take? Because, I mean, my wife and I were thinking, oh, well, let's do this together, perhaps. Is it something which needs to happen together as a couple? You both give your results and then it mashes them together, or can you do this individually, Vanna?
Well, I'll be completely honest with you. The first time we took this assessment, it just unearthed a nice little argument for us. Okay. Which fortunately we've learned how to argue well, and we do better these days. Yeah. But look, if you're going to commit to some rules of being respectful and not being defensive to how your spouse responds, then take it together. Mm-hmm. But this is more of a reflection thing as well. So take it alone, and then say, hey, how can I make it better? Yeah. Don't focus on how accurate their assessment is of where things are at. Yeah. Focus on what will make it better. If you ask your spouse today, hey, how would you rate our marriage on a scale of 0 to 10? Be prepared to not get defensive if they say a 3 and you're thinking it's a 9. Yeah. And just say, wow, what would make it a 5? So just focus on what would make it better. Don't dwell on what's wrong or why it's there. Just say, hey, how do we move towards the goal? How do we move towards oneness?
I mean, such good advice there. And honestly, even if you do take this separately, don't hide the results. Take it separately and have as an opportunity to lead to the discussion. Now, you sent me the link beforehand. I'm a little bit nervous and distracted by this because I got sent through the email which says comprehensive couples check-in. What I'm concerned about is it says there's 45 questions and it takes 15 minutes to do. I'm not sure we've got space in the rest of the hour for me to do it.
You don't need to do all of them today, but how about you do 3 questions on air if we've got time for that?
No, we've certainly got time for that. I'm clicking start the assessment. It says the following questions are intended for married couples or couples in a committed relationship. It's asking me my age. Do I skip past that part?
roll through.
Well, hopefully I get that question right. And okay, I'm just going through some. Yep, no, we're up to the first section. Question is: we divide household chores in ways that feel fair. Oh gosh, I'm pretty sure that my wife and I will have different answers to this one. My fear and her fear, I think, are different things. Particularly because acts of service is her love language. And
remember, it says that feels fair.
Yeah.
So it's not a quantitative measure. It measures your perception of flourishment in your marriage.
Okay. I'm overthinking this already. I'm disagreeing somewhat because I know that my wife wouldn't agree with it. But there we go. The next question. We can tell each other what's really on our minds.
And then the options you have there range from...
I'm just thinking out loud. Agreeing strongly to disagree strongly, and then there's 5 other options like agree, somewhat agree, neutral, etc. through there. Yeah. I would say somewhat agree.
Okay.
Because
these questions get you thinking, eh?
They do, because I can imagine situations where I'm saying, you know what? That really wouldn't be helpful for me to share that right now. It's not that it's a secret. I'm just thinking now is not the time to say that thing out loud. Let's click the filter into place and maybe we'll circle back to this at another time. And hey, anyway, it's not all about me. Okay, well, I'm going to do the third question, and then this can be my homework for next week. Fanad, you can hold me accountable to this. We typically agree on spending and purchases. No, I cannot agree to that question.
There you go.
And I think that that's certainly one of the areas that my wife and I need to work on. We have, I suppose, different relationships and connections with money and spending and what that looks like. However, I suppose we do get points for saying, if it's less than $50, okay. If it's more than $50, let's have a conversation before we make the purchase. And that seems to have got us through most of the squabbles. But there's still work to be done in that area. I can confess to that.
Well, to be encouraged, perfection is not the goal here, but moving towards oneness is.
Yeah.
and you cannot fail this assessment. It's just a matter of you will come out with one strength and two areas to work on. So be encouraged, do it, think through the questions, be challenged, and then think, hey, if this relationship really matters, are these things that I want to build into? And let's invest some time into growing that so it can become better. And that's what we're aiming for, better.
And hey, is this, again, just looking for clarification, you do this separately but both do it and then share your results, or do you work on the questions together as a couple? It doesn't matter.
Honestly, it depends.
Okay.
If you as a couple are entrenched in unhealthy habits of communication, especially when you disagree, I would say maybe it's not the best idea to start doing this and comparing the results if you've not actually learned how to deal with conflict well, because it may cause conflict. So it depends, right? But my encouragement to everyone would be, you don't need to be defensive. Focus on what's being said and focus on understanding rather than trying to defend, right? And look, if you need help, come to a weekend to remember. Get in touch to find out about a counselor in your area. Find a marriage mentor. There are many things that you can do to grow your marriage. And look, there's a book called, and I'll end on this, The Surprising Secrets of Highly Happy Couples, right? And 12 of the 13 secrets this was a study that they did, 12 of the 13 secrets actually improve the marriage, even if only one spouse is doing it.
Wow.
So you can do a lot to increase the health and the joy and the flourishing in your marriage just by you owning your bit and growing. Now, obviously, you want to grow together, but we're all on different spectrums of that journey. So just work on yourself first. What does the Bible say? Take out the plank in your own eye before you try and take out the speck in somebody else's eye.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Hey,
it's marriage week. Take the assessment, have fun, and let's grow together.
It's absolutely fantastic. This is just one of many resources available at the Family Life website. They're available all other weeks of the year, including Marriage Week, but now's as good a time as any, perhaps even a better time to do this than any other. Check out the details, familylife.nz. Vaynard, I will do my homework. You hold me accountable to that, and we'll talk to you next time.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Andrew.